You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging with you guys, and good morning. Well, first off, before we jump too far into it, I just want to say happy holidays to all you guys. We are joined here with my beautiful wifey for life. How you doing, babe?
Great.
Never
better.
How you feeling, by the way? Are you masking it right now?
I've been sick for a week.
A little over a week.
Yeah.
It's like 8 days now.
I never get sick, and then
The man flu got you.
it took me out.
I do get sick a little bit more often, unfortunately, and I don't want to really speak that, but it's just the truth. I seem to just...
You do, and it's always awful.
I don't know if it's just stress or if I just meet quite a few people at trade shows and conferences. It always seems like I'm the one under the weather, but I'm usually down and up. 3 days, not too bad. This week for you, though, last week, I should say.
It's always you and the kids, and at least, like, if you have one parent that's, like, up and good, you're fine. But if you get both parents that are sick at the same time...
We've only had that once or twice.
Yeah, but you got sick, you were over it within like a couple days. I'm going on over a week, and I just can't seem to kick it. The kids are still sick. I don't want to bore you guys with this, but we've not been doing well. Literally, I posted on Instagram last week, like, trying to like basically be more active on Instagram, like the whole Q&A and everything, and then
you were
radio silence because I've just been, I don't even know what I've been doing. I'm just existing.
No, it's been a challenging week and a half, but tis the season. I mean, it's fall, everybody's indoors, everybody's getting sick. What's happening for us?
Winter.
Well, what's really happening for us? It's soccer season.
Gosh,
and
without fail licks the soccer ball, and I don't know how to stop her.
Folks, the last 7 weeks,
I swear we get sick every time.
We were sick, then we were not sick for 10 days, and we got sick, then we were not sick for 10 days, and here we are. Three times in 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Have been all fine to handle because I haven't been sick. But you guys know when moms get sick, like
you said, all
the
fine
house
to handle.
It's been fine to handle.
Oh, fun to handle.
No, not fun to handle. Fine. Like it's been okay to handle.
I thought you meant fine
because I haven't personally gotten it.
Yeah, right.
And
last
as long
2
as
times.
I don't get it, like the house still goes.
Emmy and I were sick.
Get it, Emmy's watched TV every day this week. Like, I mean, we're just not doing good.
Freaking soccer, bro.
Freaking soccer.
They run around like chickens with their heads cut off because they're two.
Nobody's doing what they're doing. Like, not last week, the week before, another little girl was running with like her shirt up over her face and her head. And her mom was just like, I don't know what to do right now.
Usually there's about 10 kids. And for any of you guys that have kids, you get it.
Come from soccer families and they're like, oh, look at my little kickflip, or I don't know soccer.
Kickflip. That's a new one.
I have no idea about soccer. And they're like, oh wow, good 2-point turn, or I literally don't know like any soccer.
2-point turn. Good goal. Just say good goal.
Okay, good goal. I'm not a sports person. Okay,
all you do is kick a ball and hit goal.
No, they have like I've heard these parents say like these names for like the little 2-step shuffle that they do. I don't know.
Then you got 3 or so kids that kind of pretend like
know
they're
what
playing.
They're doing, and then there's ours.
Then you got the 3 kids that just run around with their hair off.
Spend more time looking for
hair on fire.
snacks.
There's like this huge soccer field by us. It's called the Legacy Center. If you know, you know. But they have these like kind of like A-frames. They're cloth, big oval A-frames. It's like 2 pieces of cloth. It looks like a teepee.
Little tent.
Yeah, a little tent, little teepee, and it's got banners and stuff for all the different brands.
It's for the signage for the
It says Adidas or some other local businesses, and all our kid does is play inside. She thinks it's a fort. She thinks it's a tent. So do the other 2 kids that we're talking about in this third group, and they play fort and tent together.
And they lick the ball,
and Emmy licks the ball. She has a dirt ring about
literally. I had to take her to the bathroom last week to wash her face.
She looks like she has a mustache.
So disgusting.
And she comes back, and it's not even but 2 days later.
Every time.
I
laugh because
please stop licking.
We were those parents that would go out to eat and like, I'm sanitizing the table. I'm sanitizing the high chair before I put the high chair cover on. We put the placemat, sticking it down to the table, and like everything's organic. Everything's like, we get on a plane, I sanitize everything. Now she's 2 and I cannot control her. She's licking windows. She's licking soccer balls.
She licks our camper windows.
Things. She licks our camper windows up.
If you're the construction workers at our house.
We're like, oh no, you can't see it because the windows are tinted. And then one day we have a meeting in the house. We're coming back and Emmy's out like licking the window. And we're like, you can full on see.
Like left to right, 3 feet passes.
She's
just like a window cleaner, bro. They're squeegee. And I go, that's our kid.
Anyways.
So we're trying to build the immune system for fall. We got a couple trips we're doing in January and February, little vacations. So hopefully we just get our immune system built up, which I guess is, like I said, it's the season. So if any of you guys have been there there, done that. That's where we're at right now with our personal life and family. Really quick, what we wanted to talk about was some strengths and weaknesses, some different conversations about the business. Little 2023 recap that we wanted to do an encore from our episode probably about, 10 days ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. We tried to do it like back to back, but we just got sick, didn't have childcare. So here we are, doing the best we can.
We got my poor mom sick.
Yep, she was
here like a trooper. I'm like dying.
Collateral
damage.
She
came to help, and
it is what it is. So I want to talk about that, but real life update. If you guys haven't checked out the Building It Together YouTube channel or the Brian's Lawn Maintenance YouTube channel in a little while, I dropped a couple videos there lately and just really cool updates on the house. That's plugging and chugging, and then the barn.
Yeah, people.
We should have. Go ahead.
People were asking, because we've been living in the RV for like an RV life update, like how we've been liking in it. How about is it English?
Yeah.
How we've been liking it. So I'll look for a video. We're going to do a video on that too soon for FPO2. That's what. Yes.
Okay, sounds good. I'm learning about this too. So we're gonna do a life update in the camper and the RV.
Yeah.
Give him a tease. Give him a 30-second tease.
Black tanks.
At Lawntrepreneur Academy, we believe in a community where success is amplified, not diminished by helping others. Introducing the Lawntrepreneur Academy Link membership, your ticket to a thriving lawn care business. Join our exclusive Lawntrepreneur Academy Link Facebook group where like-minded entrepreneurs share insights, advice, and encouragement. It's not just a group, it's a family dedicated to your success. As a Link member, you'll enjoy monthly hangouts to connect with fellow lawn care professionals, bidding hour calls to sharpen your business acumen, and enlightening lessons from industry experts in our monthly guest expert series. And here's the icing on the cake, our monthly group coaching calls where your specific challenges are addressed and you receive personalized guidance to excel in your business. Yeah, there's more. Gain exclusive access to the lessons from Brian, the mastermind behind Lawntrepreneur Academy. With call records, PDF recaps, and more, you'll have a treasure trove of resources at your fingertips. And as a special bonus, when you sign up now, you'll receive 3 training programs worth $200 absolutely free. Boost your productivity with our Productivity and Profitability Hacks training program. Learn the art of selling with our How to Sell More Customers and Close More Jobs training program. And discover the secrets of building a winning team with our How to Build Your Team and Legitimize Your Business training program. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to revolutionize your lawn care business. Join Lawntrepreneur Academy Link membership today and let's grow together. Visit LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com and sign up now or use the link in the podcast description. Lawntrepreneur Academy Link, your link to success.
Yeah, you got to make sure you have everything on schedule. Propane tanks only last so long. Black tanks only last so long. We're learning everything every day. We have a septic system coming to drain our tanks, but maybe drain those before you need them. You know, that's one of those change it before it's due kind of things. Any which way. So check out the Brian's Lawn Maintenance YouTube channel. Check out the Building It Together YouTube channel. Those are some really fun updates that we can have there, sharing you guys a little bit about what's going on in our life. Do you want to continue talking about what's been going on in Brian's Lawn Maintenance and where we're at so far wrapping up the season?
Yeah, we actually are like a pretty, I think, like exciting point. You just wrapped up a thing with LMN, the workshop that you did that brought up a lot of really good things for us to talk about.
Yeah. Why don't you talk about, here, I got a list here. We have some different things that people wanted to talk a little bit more about. Last time, if you guys didn't hear the other episode, we talked about days off, part-time helpers, selling work, delegating tasks, better managing waste in the company, expectations for some of our guys. That was some of the conversations on the previous episode. But really on this episode, we just wanted to talk about some questions that you guys had, talking about payroll, bonus and incentives for the guys, paying folks more for landscaping. How do you know you should be working on the business versus in the business? What do we pay some of our highest workers? How many seasons did it take to train a Rob? So those are some of the 6 or 7 takeaway questions that I got from Instagram, because our company's changed a lot the last 6 to 12 months. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, our company's changed a lot the last 6 to 12 months. And it's been a really challenging year because we're trying to do a little bit of everything all at once. And so we had to operate the company in totally different fashion. That being said, there's a lot of things that we've learned this year, a lot of takeaways that we've learned. What's your thoughts again, just to recap the 2023 season?
It's been interesting because like this is the first full year that I think we talked about this a little bit last time, just to recap or refresh, I guess, where you haven't been out in the field at all.
Very, very little.
Like very, very little.
I wanted to be.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily your role either. No. And learning to kind of how to manage that and like what the actual expectations are. Because you say sometimes, well, I should be in the field. And like, no, you shouldn't. Not always.
Well, I could be, and bridging work and doing more work. I wanted to be. I absolutely do. And I can work on and in. We don't have enough work to work on. We don't have enough work for me to work in. So there's a balance of both.
So we're like kind of like looking at this upcoming season as like, well, are we just going to rinse and repeat this year? Like what changes kind of are we making? What aren't we going to change? I think we really do need like a strong 4-man crew, but our problem is right now we have Bronson, who's still a high school kid, so we don't get him for the first the first beginning of the season or the tail end of the season school, and that's kind of where you could fill in.
He would be definitely an extra hand. He'd be like our 5th man if we went to a 4th full-time guy. But right now, just to zoom out, is we're kind of doing some soul searching with the company. Like, where do we want to go from here? We talked about this on that last podcast. Was we kind of set our goals up to get the house, get the barn, buy the Tesla. It's a whole wild 7-year chapter of our life. I mean, not to downplay. I mean, 7 years we've been working towards a lot of these goals. The quote unquote Brian's Lawn Maintenance 2.0 or 3.0, whatever we're calling ourselves, that we got to here. It's been a struggle. It's been exhausting. It's been fun. It's been good. Like, we're no longer in survival mode, is what I told somebody the other day. Like, it doesn't mean we're rich. It doesn't mean we have, $1 million sitting in the bank. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means like if we want to go buy a new trimmer, we can. If we want to buy a new mower, we have to consider it, think about it, but we could. If we wanted to look at buying another truck or adding another truck, we can. It's not that big of a deal. Now, whether we pay cash or not for a truck, I mean, we've got the cash to do that, but do we want to just go finance it, keep some cash on hand, and then some, just to give a roundabout, like we could do all the above. So we don't want to get over leveraged. We don't want to not pay cash for things either. We'd like to work on a cash basis in the future. But right now we're really debating and deciding where do we take this next wave of Brian's Lawn Maintenance. If we even want to call it Brian's Lawn Maintenance, we're considering all the above. We've
had a lot of really, really great conversations in between stuff. It's hard with freaking kids. Like, I want to sit down and have like these hour-long powwows with you like we used to, and it's been difficult to find time, especially with everybody being sick. But even in between all of the life happening, we've had some really great conversations because we've been put in touch with a lot of really awesome people like Sam Gimbel, like a Corey Ballard, where you're like, okay, what does that look like? Like, what does it actually look like when you go from where we're at until like maybe where we're thinking about going? Like, is that something that we want to do? Like, what does your lifestyle look like at that point? Like, are you eat, breathing, and sleeping, grass, or do you still have a little bit of, separation? Like, what, we're kind of trying to decide. I think we've pretty much just decided. We're just trying to figure out what it looks like for us.
Well, and right now,
take the business.
Yeah, and admittedly, we still got 6 more months left on building the home. I still have another 2-3 months left, at least, until the barn's at a comfortable level. I mean, we got the concrete, the cabinets, the pallet racking, the loft. I want to put some workout gear up there. We got to transfer everything out of our lockers and into the barn, which, just to reiterate, we're not really operating the business out of the barn, although the business will be stationed in the barn. The trailer and where the guys meet up will still be at the storage locker, most likely, because I already pay $60 for a parking spot.
And it's right where our route is.
And it's right in the heart of our route. So
the guys have to go there anyway. Might as well not put the
trailer might come here on a Friday for the weekend, go out on a Monday. That's a conversation we're debating too. But for the other 5 days a week, it's probably going to stay in the storage locker. I mean, there's the storage yard, I should say, and we can operate 2, 3, 4 trailers out of there. I'm sure. It's kind of tacky, to have a team of 10 there with parking and all that mess. So we one day are looking at a shop. So these are.
It is interesting because I'm friends with our realtor on Facebook, and she shared a property the other day, and it's not even in the area we'd be looking in, but it was like a cool, like I sent a screenshot of it to Brian, and it was interesting to be like dreaming again about that kind of thing. Like,
why else ask? Who's paying for that?
Yeah, he's like, you actually said, in terms of money, we have no money.
In terms of money, we have no money.
But it's interesting to be like our goal for so long was just the house and the barn, and now
that's all we can
finished,
think about.
Like, we still have a long way to go on it. Like, to have like a new dream. Like, I feel like we're in the process of like a new dream awakening, as corny as that sounds.
And I think a lot of you guys, if you're just listening, and I think this is episode 601 601, 602, which, by the way, we had 600 episodes. That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, yay. It's how much we don't pay attention to it. But I will say this is like, we have 600 episodes talking about the grind, getting to where we're at today. So some of you guys just listening in, you're like, where are these guys at in business and revenue? Parental Maintenance doing like 350, 400 grand. In the first 600 episodes and the first 1,000 YouTube videos that we did have all been talking about getting to 2-3 guys, 1 full-time crew, 2-3 full-time guys, making 50, 80, 100 grand off the business. Like, that's a solid, stable little income in business. And we're really happy. We're really proud of that. I think that would change and transform 9 out of 10 people looking to get into the industry, having a solid business, making them 100 grand. Would you agree? Mm-hmm. I mean, most people coming from a bad job or a dead end job or a job without opportunity or even a corporate job, and they're looking to replace a $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 a year job and then some. I think what we built is very attractive to what a lot of people are trying to do. And then a lot of you guys have done that along the way too. And so a lot of us got to this level, which I really think LAL talked about and really hit was, where do you go from here? We talked about it at LAL, scaling, growing, building systems, building teams, having strategy behind what you do. And then I went to Mark Bradley's LMN, I think he's calling it the Mastermind seminar series, something like that. We got this really cool, fancy workbook, which, holy Jesus, I mean, we were there for a day and a half. Landscape Mastermind. And I mean, I've got 4 pages of notes, 4 pages of things that we could work on. And each one of these things is a day, week, a month, or a year process. You know what I mean? And Mark Bradley said he doesn't do any coaching or consulting anymore because it's just not worth his time. But he said he used to do it. He said, I'll fly in for one day, $5,000. He so eloquently delivered this line. It was just a gut punch. He's like, I'll come in for $5,000. I'll do one day. I'll hang out with you guys at 6 a.m. till about 3 p.m. And then I'll fly home and I'll email you back what you can improve on. And some guy said, well, I need to book you at least for 3 days. He goes, no, you didn't. He goes, because I'll know in that first 15 minutes that I'll be able to give you about 2 years worth of homework. And you're just like, what the fudge does that even mean?
Okay.
And there's like 100 people in this masterclass that we're all hanging out with at Suburban Collection Showplace, which is where we have LAL. And so 100 of us just like all sit back in our chair and go, oh, like, and if he came, it wouldn't even take him 15 minutes. He'd give me 15 minutes to take 5 years. Or in 1 minute, he'd give me a year worth of problems. I'm like, I know. We have so much things to work on and improve. Mark Bradley, for example, ran a $50 million company, has LMN, which is worth a gob. He's telling us stories at dinner that would blow your guys' mind. Stories that I can't tell and can't repeat. You're just like, dude, there's such another level out there. So I came back to Liz and I'm like, we already knew we had a lot of work to do. Everything is like wet cement here. Like, where do we want to restructure this thing? Where do we want to go? Do we want to buy more trucks? What kind of trucks? What kind of work do we get into? And again, just a big soul searching episode, I guess, is the title of this podcast, because that's where we're at right now. We can maybe answer a few Q&As here that we got in a minute, but where are you mentally with where do you want to go in the business? Because you've been struggling with this since LAL.
I have, because I feel like we do.
Both of us have, by the way.
We have a lot going on. So if you guys don't listen to the show regularly, or I'm very rarely on episodes, like just personality wise, to give you a breakdown, Brian is very usually calm, cool, collected, more calculated decision making. I'm make the decision and make it right. Like, let's go. Let's hurry up. Let's just make the decision. We'll figure it out later. Like, let's get moving.
Is why, thank God, you can't get a divorce attorney at 3 a.m.
So,
you make the decision to make it right. What does that mean?
It's been hard for me, especially going through such a changing season of becoming a mom, becoming a second-time mom, the build and everything. Like, I am more removed from the business than I have ever been, but I also want to be more engaged than I have ever been. And it's hard because I feel like I can't do anything right now. Like, we don't have the capacity right now to make the changes or to start implementing things that we want to do for another probably 6 months. Like, I would say mid-season next year, things would clear up a lot, but then
there's just
hard.
Too much moving around right now.
There's a lot going on.
Admittedly,
so
I don't want to make any excuses.
Working towards what we want to be at. Like, there are certain things with the guys I want to start implementing now that we have a home base where we have a weekly meeting. Like, we hold people
trainings,
not accountable, but accountable, and kind of things that we need to put in place internally so that when we have more employees, that there aren't questions of like, well, how come I was allowed to do this then? And like, so-and-so wasn't, or like, well, because right now, just to be frank, like, we kind of, if somebody wants a week off, we're like, okay, cool, winter, there's no work. We got 3 guys here to manage.
We have parameters.
We have parameters, but it's not like there's no book you have to like sign off, and you don't have to go and ask for like a permission or like put your dates in ahead of time or anything.
It's a good team. It's a good unit.
They work extremely well.
They cover each other.
Together.
We have great coverage on everything.
They're amazing together, but I know that's not always going to be the case. So we need to put these policies and procedures.
The good old boys club you can't go to 20 people, 100 employees.
It's just not. You can't
obviously.
do that. So that's
what we're building and refining.
Go over the team handbook and things like this, and kind of not for the guys that we have now, but just knowing that we are going to be bringing more people onto the team and hedging against future, essentially.
Which is,
because none of this is a problem right now. Like Brian said, if one guy's like, oh, I have a doctor's appointment, like they don't even talk to us half the time. They cover each other. It's amazing. All the work gets done. It's beautiful, beautiful thing. But I know that's not going to continue forever.
Well, I'll tell you guys, I've really fallen in love with Mark Bradley the last year or two. Guy's brilliant. He's a genius. He's awesome, incredible dude. I will tell you guys, we're shopping software, to maybe evaluate part of this whole macro conversation is different software. No announcements or anything like that. We use Yardbook, love Yardbook. I have no problems with Yardbook. I love Yardbook. But it is not the most robust software if you're trying to grow to $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, $10 million company. So we always say, begin with the end in mind. If you want to grow to a $10 million company, Yardbook, frankly, respectfully, won't get us there. And it doesn't mean the LMN will. It just means we need something more robust. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to Caleb Allman because he was at the masterclass. They came up from Columbus and got to spend a day and a half with those guys. And I just really like what Mark has to say about business, about life. He's somebody that I could really see us modeling some stuff after. That being said, so it wasn't about the mastermind necessarily, or even getting LMN or anything like that, or Greenius. I think those will be tools and resources that we educate ourselves on hardcore over the next 30, 60, 90 days. Some
big decisions to make, and things that we're thinking about, like Brian even kind of mentioned earlier, about possibly rebranding, which honestly, we've got some...
We struggle with that.
I struggle so much with it just because, and I know it's an identity sort of thing. Brian's Lawn Maintenance is us, and we are Brian's Lawn Maintenance, and the idea of changing our logo makes me want to cry. It's a chapter closing. But I think there are other reasons, the reasons behind the rebrand, we do need to make sure are bigger than just
making more money.
Quick
side note, I know we're really hopscotching all over the place here, but if you guys have a chance to go to one of these LMN, I'm looking at this journal here, the Landscape Mastermind sessions. I think it's $300. You have to go. You have got to check it out.
I wish I could have gone.
We are. So I will say this, more than likely, as long as the dates work out, because we are traveling for 10 days in January, 10 days in February, we have to get the hell out of Michigan. That's something we non-negotiably do for our mental health. It is, ever since we got our money a little bit more right, I've 100% prioritized
traveling in the winter.
Well, just vacations in general, because I didn't take any for 12 years.
We thought it was a badge of honor to be I've never taken a vacation in my life.
No. And up until probably my, 4 or 5 years ago, I probably would have fought that tooth and nail, but that's not a badge of honor. So we got our money a little bit more right, meaning, we aren't exclusively just shopping on the dollar menu. And the first surplus I did was I'm taking a break. I'm taking a vacation because I will, that's a whole nother rant for a whole other time, but you have got to factor that in to your calendar for the year. That being said, I believe the one in Columbus, don't quote me on the dates, go to LMN.com or GoLMN.com, I think it is. Check out the masterclass. I think there's one in Columbus, first weekend of February or whatever. And I definitely would love to go down, hang out with the almonds for a day or two, and then invite you to come check out that class as we go together. Because I think it's that important for you to go and see what I heard and all this mess and just get the vision, get the dream, and literally sit cheeks in the seats with me for 2 days, a day and a half. We'll figure out childcare and all that crap along the way. But man, it's just it's in a lobotomy on me. I'm oh my God, what are we doing around here? And it is really one of those things where do we go from here is the whole conversation. Because again, we accomplished all the big goals and lofty goals that we set. The dream board's behind us. We hit all that crap.
I'm looking
It's
at it.
weird.
It looks like you took a lot of.
I took it all down because
There's like nothing.
there's nothing other than
We have
the Great Loop.
the Great Loop.
And I put the cover of the Lawn and Landscape magazine, top 150, because there's none left. I mean, like, and of course I had like a jet ski and a razor, and I don't even care about those anymore. I would like a snowmobile to rip around here. That'd be cool. You want to get one for Christmas? We don't have the money for that. I got to buy cabinets and racking for my barn. It goes 10 to 15.
Just for
If you guys have never shopped out racking and cabinets for your barn, keep an eye on
insane.
that. It is insane. I mean, you can get cheap
the house
stuff.
is insane. This part is insane.
It is just hemorrhaging money. So like we do have a lot of money going into the house, the barn, and of course we are putting a bunch into that. So, but that doesn't mean we aren't budgeting and allocating funds for trucks and mowers and trailers. That's all stuff we're still able to still invest into the spring.
We have a lot
I'm
of
proud of
changeover
that.
coming up with the equipment because a lot of it's
Everything.
getting old.
Everything is getting
We
refreshed.
did buy the new truck. The new truck has the plow on it and the lights now, which is cool.
Yep.
You got those installed. I think you did an episode, didn't you?
I didn't do one with Yusuf because I had to get out of there because he had to get going too. We only had a half day. But like everything is re-upping, you know, and I'm hesitant of wrapping the car or the vehicles, the trucks, and even if we do throw it down for a new enclosed trailer because we might rebrand in 12, 18 months. No announcements. These are all like questions about where do we want to go from here. I think we kind of covered that as much as we could. I know we're a little hopscotch all over the place. But if we get the opportunity to go to Columbus, would you want to go check that out with Mark?
Yeah, I just don't feasibly know how to sit in a conference all day when I have an exclusively
Breastfed baby. Yeah. Maybe
it's one thing when it's our conference, but to go sit at somebody else is kind of rude.
Maybe you can wear like a beer hat or something like that, and you can just pump milk into a little dude. He can just like sip on a straw, just when he wants some more, like a little camel pack.
Yeah.
Hey, really quick, side note, not sponsored, but that Manili vacuum, we should buy one of those. I don't think
What are you talking about right
that
now?
vacuum system.
I understand. What does that have to do with anything?
It just looked really, really sweet. I was on a TikTok binge for like 3 minutes last night because I really don't like our Dyson.
Brian really likes to vacuum. If you guys want like a
I
beige
love
flag about Brian, the whole
Clean
beige
floors.
flag. I thought about making this. Have you seen the beige flag trend going around? And it's like
Don't know
there's
what
like
that
a
is.
red flag, like a not good.
Never heard
A
of it.
beige flag is kind of like not great, but like also kind of weird, but like not bad.
Okay.
Brian's beige flag is every time before we leave the house, he has to take the trash out and vacuum.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if we're 20 minutes late, if he knew we were leaving. I don't know. Brian vacuums probably like 4 times a day.
What's the name of that vacuum? I'm looking up.
I don't know. Right now we have a Dyson stick.
I hate it. It doesn't do anything for you. Don't buy those. If you guys have that on your Christmas list, don't get it. It starts.
I feel like it did really great.
What's the one with the big pull behind thing? I was just sending you a bunch of them last night. Dang it.
I think you should just get a shop vac.
Well, that's what it was. That's what all the women are like. Oh my god, that's what we need to get. And there's a.
Just get a shop vac.
Okay. Anyway, let's shift gears.
This was you, buddy. I didn't talk
Yeah,
about it.
I just things that are on your mind. My brain goes squirrel. Let me answer some of these questions. We can help you guys maybe for just a couple minutes. Is payroll, salary, hourly? These are all questions that we get quite a bit. We have added all of our guys to salaried positions. Whenever we bring on somebody, we always start them part-time. We always start them between $16 and $18 an hour, most of our guys. Experience or not, that's where you start. And once you have experience, we'll up you from 30, 60, 90 days in. It doesn't take long. But I can tell within 30 days whether or not you're in or you're out. One thing, this is all conversations, is like we threw a lot of our guys on salary pretty quickly
I
because...
feel like we're like a gang.
What? Why?
Because it's like once you pass initiation, we take
The
care of you
haze.
for life.
Once you
Because
haze
our
you.
guys they get salary, like they get.
It's a pretty sweetheart deal.
yeah, I
pretty
mean,
quick.
Mark's
Ryan.
Rob's got a truck, and Ryan, we just take care of them so well, and I could never imagine
I want to work for us.
Yeah, I know, but it's like once you make it through, it's like okay, now I take care of you for life, and you can't leave the gang ever, and it's just, you know what I mean? Like I kind of feel like the gang.
Well, if you give everybody trucks and phones, it's hard for them to walk away. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, if you
Yeah, right. They our guys are smart. They have options, and we're grateful for them. Most of the time, I throw them on salary pretty quickly, just so I don't have to deal with the payroll, the headache, the back and forth. How many hours this week? How many hours that week? I don't care. This year, we definitely didn't. It's not that we don't care. They had the hours. It was budgeted. It was all allocated. We knew the revenue. We knew the time on the route. We knew what it took. And plus or minus 5-10%, they're down, within hours allocated for the route in the week. And I know what we're making on that route, and that's totally fine.
This is one of the things that I worry about as we get bigger, because like our guys are basically family. Like we were in the middle of moving. It was a chaotic mess, and guess who showed up? Our guys.
Yeah.
I love them, but I can't expect that same thing
when you got 100.
When we have 100, yeah.
Yeah, but again, it's the same thing. You scale this business model to 100 and it'll be just fine. If you scale an unhealthy business model to 100 folks or 10 million and it was unhealthy at 350 grand, it's not going to fix itself likely at 10 million, right? So we have a very healthy business model. Everybody's paying. We're good, right? So if you take that times 10, 1000x or 100x, I would like to make 100x of what we're making. That'd be fine with me. Bonuses and incentives, we don't have anything like that.
We just kind of like, hey, you literally came to me. It was like fall. It was like October.
Like late August, September.
And you're like, hey, I'm going to bonus the guys. And I'm like, okay. It was a decent bonus too. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, hey, or like something will come up and like, he'll see a TikTok or like Emmy's got this mower. And he's like, you know what? We should buy one of the guys' son this thing. And I'm like, okay. Like it's so randomized.
There is no bonus structure.
There is no bonus structure. And it's like the most random things. Like
Mark Bradley's LMN seminar talked about this. One was like a sales process. One was increasing man-hour rate and production. Another one was bonuses and incentives. That was a Friday portion. I stuck around for that because I'm like, hey, how are you guys bonusing people? It was very, very insightful. And I'm always open to comparing notes too with what you guys are doing out there in the industry because as the company gets like larger, like Liz said, we have to have real structure in place. You can't just whimsically give people $100, $1,000, $10,000 bonuses. Like it has to be structured. And this is all stuff that as we build a real serious company to $1 million, $2 million, I really start feeling like you have a real serious company after about 800 to $1 million because it can't just be a mob of guys only. That's something I keep telling Liz. I'm like, we're a good mob of guys. We tackle the work. We tackle the route.
Yeah.
The guys have a can-do attitude. And that is great when you have 3 to 6, 8, 10 guys, but that doesn't work when you have 75 employees. You can't, yes, there's a culture of like, we work hard and we get the job done, but you do need like real structure, real organization, real skill set development, and no offense to anybody that's got an $800, $1,000 company, like, we're a real company. No, I get it. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is like, you can't just have a brute force work yourself to death mentality if you're growing a real company. That's something that Mark really, really spoke about in many different fashions. So bonus and incentives structure, we don't have one. We just, but we took the guys to Cedar Point. Think about that the other day. That trip cost us $2,500 that day. It was a really, really good time. It built a lot of camaraderie. Got us out of the house, them out of the house. It was a really, really good time.
Mm-hmm. Everybody went to Equip this year. These things cost thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, Equip cost me $5-10 grand to go. For labor for the week. Paid everything. It was quite a commitment. Paying for folks more for landscaping jobs. This is a really good conversation. Yes, you can. I would work more on a bonus structure in that regard, unless they're salaried and dedicated with that. But it really comes to a skill set. And Mark talked about that a whole nother session. It was the skill set gap. He goes, we do not give raises to give raises, cost of living or otherwise. He goes, if you want to make more, it's a skill gap. And you have to close the skill gap. I thought that was just great. I was like, what does Mark have to say? Who cares what Brian's Law Maintenance has to say? Like, we're peons. I was like, what does Mark Bradley have to say? And I've got 100 more questions I want to ask the guy in the future, and that's why I want to go back to see him in Columbus. But he said, you have to close the skill gap with training, give people a skill evaluation, and even give them a roadmap. He had like every position in the company labeled out and what it pays and what it can pay up to, and like a workflow. It was really fast. I think this is Greenius is like a training education platform that they bought, which I think is a separate subscription that you have to invest in. I don't know if you can do it a la carte outside of just your LMN membership, or if you have to have LMN to also access that as well, like if it's baked inside. But you get like 800 forms, all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'd spend $20 a month, $50 a month for Greenius or whatever the hell that is. You get like 800 documents and resources and all these org charts and stuff that you could customize to your company. I'm like, why reinvent the wheel? That's where I'm at. People are like, oh, you like Mark Bradley, you drink the LMN Kool-Aid? No, if we grow to 10 million, why would you reinvent the wheel? Yeah.
You get the whole ball of wax and have a mega one crew outfit like Brian's Law Maintenance, you will make $100 grand and run 300-400 gross. it's turnkey in 24 months, as long as you're willing to put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to Mark at dinner that evening, and he goes, if you follow my program, my plans, my systems, the way I approached business, he goes, you will run a $10 million company. He goes, how long do you think it would take you to get to 10 million? I said, honestly, 7 to 10 years. He goes, I can get you there in 3. And I was like,
sign me up, Mark.
I was like, okay. And the almonds will, and like, it's his level of belief and understanding, right? Like, that's what it always comes down to. And ours is like, I don't know. Do you think we can get to 1 million? And he's like, but that's what I need to get around. I need to get around that and as much access as possible. It was really, really fascinating. But this form that he had, and he is part of his presentation, because you'll see the slides if you go. Again, check out the master classes if you guys haven't. Somebody here at the door? Sounds like it. One or two more really quick. We'll just kind of button this up. Maybe some helpful tips. How do you know when you should be working in the business versus on the business? What do you pay your highest worker? And how many seasons does it take you to train a Rob? And let's go in reverse. Most of our guys make between 18 and 25 bucks an hour. Liz joked earlier, but the compensation plan's where it's at. I don't think most of our guys have paid for fuel this year.
No,
I don't think,
or we pay
food.
for like lunches. Like
every Thursday at the end of the week, we work 410s. We do lunches on Thursday. Sometimes even extra, like if I know they had a challenging day or a rough day, or it's wet, sleet, rain, and a 2-hour storm blew through, but they didn't hang it up, and then they went out. It's like, hey, why don't you guys go get dinner on me? They get done at 6 o'clock. And we do. We perk our guys all the time. Plus, equip and going to Cedar Point this year, and
we outfit them with like snow boot, like anything they need. Like
we dropped them $800 on winter jackets for Refrigiware. Shout out to Refrigiware. $800 on snow boots from Refrigiware. Mm-hmm. Like, those are real tangible perks. We get them Oakley sunglasses, headphones from IsoTunes, all that mess. So nothing crazy. It's not like we're like low key paying Rob $40 an hour to stick around. It's not like that. But Rob's skills have grown, so Rob makes more. If Rob wants to make more, they will know, and they know how to get there.
We also talked to them too about their goals. I think that's one of the most important things that I've learned from you as a owner of any company should be doing, is like talking to your employees about what they want their lives to look like.
Sure. What's your goals for the year?
Yeah. So we don't have to go super deep into that.
Yeah. One other one. How long did it take for Rob to start running a crew? I'd say every bit of about 3 years. It didn't have to take that long, but he was also younger. Rob came into my company at 16 or 17, maybe 18, and he was pretty part-time for about a year. Second year went full-time. Second, third year, I really said, hey, do you want to have a career here?
Yeah.
Because at the time I was still owner-operator working in the field every single day.
You were talking about becoming a journeyman?
Electrician. Yep. That was a whole nother wild conversation, but I said, hey, if you want to be my right-hand guy, I have this social media thing kind of taken off. I really need to devote more time to it. Not a full-time job, not, exclusively, not be a YouTuber, but I just have to get off the mower 1 or 2 days a week, if not entirely. And Rob really helped facilitate that conversation. We joke, like, would there be a Brian's Lawn Maintenance YouTube if there wasn't a Rob running the right-hand show of Brian's Lawn Maintenance in the field? Because the work had to get done. The answer is yes, because we would do it no matter what. Yeah. But because you can never let your employees hold you ransom or hostage. But number two, I'm really grateful for Rob. And that's why Rob gets a truck, and Rob's getting a new truck in the spring, and got to take care of your right-hand guy, your first right-hand guy especially. But I think all too often people just look at folks and they just throw them in the seat. Like, you're my guy. They anoint somebody. And Mark, again,
whether or not they want the anointing.
Yeah, exactly. Whether or not they want the role. But man, Mark did a great presentation talking about finding crews, building crews, right-hand men. How do you promote a right hand without letting that crew fall apart? Oh my God, this whole 2-hour portion was about building crews and right hands and finding right hands. It was really, really good. And he's like, how a team of 1 turns into a team of 2, in terms of 3, and then it turns into a team of 10. And how they kept these crews growing. And he's like, my best crew. And then how those crews were training and how they became leaders. It was fascinating conversation. You're like, oh my God, duh. But again, sometimes we're just trying to promote people that Mark had a really good line. He's like, we were hiring a bunch of people, and we would just basically throw them into the wolves. They'd show up at 6 a.m. Machines are running out the shop, go find Mark. They'd find him. He'd size him up, throw him a shirt, get in the rig. Hey, you're going with Joe. Joe takes you. And then Joe's crew had him doing all the B work. So he goes, after like a week or two of that, we just see if they sink or swim. He goes, so like that was his hiring process. And I'm like, so like it's silent in the room because everybody's like tracking, if you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And he goes, after 2 weeks, we'd have a bunch of brutes with not a lot of brains because they're just like, he's like, all these guys would have like blisters on their feet, you know, and like, well, he didn't quit. So he's our guy. And Mark said, we found that we had a bunch of guys that were strong, but too stupid to lead or too stupid to realize what they're going through is not worth it for what they're getting paid. Just a bunch of mules, right? So he goes, you can't build a real company to millions of levels with nothing but hard workers. You have to have people that are thinking and executing and building leadership. And it was just super insightful.
What you were telling me about like what Mark pays his people and like,
dude, it's insane. I'm going to go to work for Mark.
Please don't.
No. Well, I mean,
I don't like Canada.
We need a part-time job. No, we'll work remote. So again, like it is a process. It's not an overnight thing. And I think some people want to just, hey, that guy's running the mowing crew. And the dude's never ran anything in his life, let alone 3, 4, 5 people. You know, Mark really talked about where they find leaders, how they promote people. I guess this is an indirect plug for the masterclass, so check it out. But golmn.com, right? Last thing is, how do you know when you should work? And we'll button this episode up. But how do you know what to work on the business or in the business, Liz? I think it just really depends on where you're trying to go. Like, what's your goal? Like you talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm. I have a hard time getting what I want to say out of my brain when it comes to this topic.
What do you mean? Where you at? You got to bring the mic up a little bit. You said you have a hard time. So what does that mean? Like quantify that.
I can't.
So are you busy working on your business or working in your business? Or do you not know what the business needs?
I feel like I can't do either right now, I guess.
Okay. Why? Because of the kids?
I guess.
Or the house, the life?
Just all of it.
I think you and
I want to sit down.
I think you struggle with strategy.
I struggle a lot with strategy because I want to do. And it's very frustrating to me when I can't just do. And so I don't. Do you know what I mean?
I do. I do.
Because like same thing. So the last time I was on here, I think I was talking about how I wanted to get together a list of all of our snow clients to send out.
Yeah, I made that list.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
When?
A week ago when you yelled at me that it wasn't done.
Because it wasn't done, so I couldn't do, and then I just don't.
Well, no.
See?
I did it, and then you got sick.
I did get sick.
Because I was like, yo, dude, that list has been done for a week. Because Troy sent his stuff because we had a salt run.
Yeah.
So, in your defense, it's not like you hauled off and did nothing, like with the YouTube camera.
And
it was.
I struggle finding my place. Like, I always get wives coming up to me and they're like, so I want to, I really want to just pick your brain because I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing in the business, basically. And, I can't find my role, or I had this role and now I don't. And like, I'm like, I don't know any more than you guys. I want to sit down with.
Frankly, that changes for myself included.
It's
everybody.
Always evolving.
It's always evolving. That's why it sucks.
And you can't get so attached to one thing because the idea is to grow and change. Yeah, your identity. Like, Bethany's job right now is everything that I used.
Yeah, but that's the social media thing.
Yeah, and
that's fine. I mean, I'm not downplaying or upplaying it. It's just that's a different business.
Out, like, what do
I wish we had 2 Bethany's so she could help us in our Brownsville maintenance because she would write the manuals, the org charts. That's why I'm like, you know what? Instead of that, we'll just go get Greenius or whatever that is. Hire out somebody to. For contract work, but she's not going to be there at 6 o'clock at night if we need help.
But I want to sit down with Brandy, I think. Sam Gimbel's wife.
Sam Gimbel's, yeah, I think it's Brandy.
Like, she seems like the kind of mom and wife I want to be when I grow up, where like, I don't know. I don't know her, but
you should do a Moms of Lawn Care podcast.
I should, because I have a lot of questions. Like, I want to know how to be a mom at the level I want a mom at, but still,
not get divorced,
but still also participate in our business
necessarily. Yeah,
because I personally and I have nothing against traditional working moms at all. It's amazing. It's insane to me that you could even do that. My mom worked 2 jobs, and I'm like, how did you do that? How am I alive right now?
You turned out okay.
It's nothing to do like that. But when we sat down and said, okay, we're ready to have kids, what do we want it to look like when we have kids? I wanted to be the one on the day-to-day home with them. And I don't know how to do that.
It's hard to be home and homeschool and also at the office growing a company.
Yeah. And so I'm watching Brittany Alman right now try and figure out. I'm like, how are you doing? How's your life looking? Are you liking it?
It's like the Hunger
Is everybody
Games.
still doing good?
It's the Hunger Games, man. The 3 fingers, like, peace, good luck.
Yeah, because I want to
Tribute.
be able to participate in our business and show our kids, like, wow, mommy and daddy did this. Like,
Right.
like I don't want to be just a passive bystander. Not that there's anything wrong with that either, because I feel like no matter what you say, somebody's going to get pissed off.
Crucify.
Yeah. But I don't know if I'm built to be just
A business mom.
mom or just business. Like I want the hybrid, and
You're a FOMO person too.
I
That
have
doesn't help.
very, very deep FOMO, but I also don't feel like you don't have to pick one thing over another. You can do everything you want. I just believe that you can't do it all at the same time, and you can't do it all by yourself.
And
So I'm trying to figure out what that looks like. Like planning on
ahead.
homeschooling, I definitely want to be in charge of my child's education, but not like the sole provider of my child's education. So bringing into more of like a home-based learning where, things that aren't my strengths, I can bring in a tutor for. And then during that time, I can go work on the business. I don't know. I'm still figuring it out.
We 100% do not want to sacrifice our kids' youth and time with them to grow a $10 million company.
Yes. I talked to Lindsay Ballard a lot about this.
That's not for sale.
Yeah.
So, like, if it means we're going to grow to 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, or it takes us twice as long,
And I think
that's
what
fine.
if it was just Brian and I and we didn't have children now, like our
man,
decision making would be so
stop messing
different.
around. We wouldn't mess around. We would not mess around. We would take it to 10 million
And
in
it
5
made me
years.
so mad when people would say that with kids, and now I get it.
No. I mean, and there's no excuses we have. We've grown, our company's grown 50, 80 grand a year.
Yeah, it's not an
We've
excuse
grown
not to grow. It's just
multi-million-dollar social media business thing, like whatever the hell that is.
we would just be so much more ruthless.
I mean, I take probably an above average amount of risk, calculated above average amount of risk, still up to this day, and I don't care, and it pays off, and it's not like we get lucky. We're just very thoughtful and intentional, and we have contingencies, and we're very capable. But I would still 5x redline anything that we're at right now if I didn't have kids. Obviously, anybody would, especially if you're single or something like that, and you don't have a spouse. But you can't play that game, so who cares? It's like idle. It's wasteful conversation. So, but at the same point, like, what do we want to do next? That's the conversation, and where do we want to go from here? And trying to keep a healthy, unbalanced balance, right? That we always talk about.
A healthy, unhealthy balance.
Unhealthy, balanced, unbalancedness. So we're dealing with the same probably mental ping pong that all of you guys are dealing with, or quite a few of you, or even some of you guys are looking to. And it's the same conversation. It's just a different topic. Going full time, bringing on your wife, having your wife quit your job. Do I quit my job? Do I go to 1 million? Do I add my first guy? Do I add a second crew? It's all these like unknowns.
The unknowns might be different. The feelings are the same, and like the thought process behind like working through them are the same. So like once you've had a few problems, you figured out how to solve them, you just rinse and repeat at different levels is what I think it is.
We just make a decision and make it right.
You're all just making it up as you go.
Yeah.
So what is one
Troy
thing?
Clogg, hold on, really quick. Troy Clogg at his open house, because the master class, if you guys don't know, and I learned as I went, it was a day and a half with Mark, and then we did a local site visit at a business, and this one was Troy Clogg's, which was awesome because I know Troy. He lives 2 miles down the road. He keeps bugging us for dinner, by the way. He's like,
He's like our neighbor now.
He's like, you're 2 miles down the road. He goes, you're allowed to come over to get dinner anytime you want.
not allowed to leave the trailer.
He's not offering to come over to our house, which is weird. Come over my camper, Troy. Golly. But he said so we all went over at noon on Friday. It was a Thursday, Friday seminar, and went over to Troy's, and he said the funniest line ever. He cackles and chuckles just like we do. He's really good at pitching and catching. And he goes, yeah, there's 3 divisions here. One's the mechanic shop. He goes, they'll probably tell you what we're doing, and it's probably true. And then he goes, the office staff, he goes, they're great. He goes, that's all down this portion of the building. He goes, they're smart. Some of the smartest people we got. They'll point you in the right direction. He goes, then he points out to the yard and like the field work. He goes, that's the other third of the business, and you can ask them questions, but they're probably making a bunch of shit up. He got it. This is in front of 75 people. He goes, all the guys in the field, they're all making shit up. I freaking laughed so hard. I had this whole speech for like 3 minutes, him and Mark Bradley, and I lost the audio because my microphone and my camera.
The camera has to go in. If you guys haven't seen super consistent uploads, it's because the
my camera. I've lost 3 videos, vlogs now with my microphone, just a static thing, the microphone port, it's just so stupid. So I have it like choppy audio, you can kind of tell, but it's not really like consumable good. Like you'll click off, and so would I. But it's funny. I did get the joke and the banter, but it's and it's kind of like overlaid with static. It sucks, but it is hilarious. And Troy was making fun of that, and he'd been trying to get Mark Bradley to Troy's shop for a decade. And he's like, just be careful if Mark Bradley promises you something. It might take a little while to come together. And it was a really funny conversation to banter.
So was
so
that
if you guys, I was just going to say, if you go to a masterclass and they have a local company tour, 1,000%, I think you should check that out. I think the Almond's down in Ohio, Columbus. After Mark does a seminar, they're going to go hang out with the Almond Landscape crew.
Oh, really? That's cool.
No. I'm making that up. That'd be awesome. We should text him right now.
I'm like, sweet.
We should text him right now and put him in the hot seat. Start making him sweat. Like, really? Yeah, did you guys hear? You guys just got added to the website.
That's funny. I totally believed you.
You guys
I was like, wow, that's so cool.
Tag Mark Bradley at Element and at Go Element and at Mark Bradley 360 if you guys are on Instagram.
What does Element stand for?
Landscape Management Network.
Thank you.
And then
thinking about that for a while.
Tag Go Element, tag at Mark Bradley 360 or something like that, and then also tag at Almond Landscape if you guys hear this portion of the podcast. What was your question? Well, let's button it up.
Let's button it up. Last question. What is one thing that you're excited about for this next season?
A boat? Are you starting
Apparently, we're moving to Canada, so I'm getting
hang out with Mark Bradley. Now you're about a boot. What was the question? What's one thing that what?
You're excited for this next season? Either to implement or to change or to do again, or
I definitely think we could hit a sales revenue goal of $500,000. I do believe we've talked about simple stuff. This is
got to get the sales staff in order. That's you.
Yeah, I mean I'm 4 accounts away. We got 100 of that on the table right now with those 2 sites that I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. That's 100 if we want to get it.
It's kind of scary.
So we are 1,000% building the foundation. I know we have to. It's like if you're building a 2-story home on a ranch foundation, you got to go back in and pour concrete. You know what I mean, for a second floor. Mm. You want to build a skyscraper, you have to excavate. Unless you built the foundation for a skyscraper. We don't have to go back in anything we've done with the company.
Like excavate?
Yeah, we do have to go back and excavate. Not really uproot anything, but we have to reinforce and rebolster what we're trying to do. It sounds weird because there's nothing bad, nothing wrong. We could go to $1 million on what we'd have, but we need to we don't have a company mission statement. We don't have a company vision statement. We don't have core values. We don't have, our color scheme is pretty good. Our fonts and our branding and our logos are all pretty good, but we don't have we have the employee handbook that we have. We have that at Launchpreneur Academy for sale. That's robust as hell.
But we need to go through it with our guys.
But it needs to be, it needs to be utilized. We need more systems, more strategies, because one thing that the big takeaway from Mark's thing was, you don't just build the company, you build the systems and the systems and the
structure. Yeah.
Yeah. The strategy and the systems build the company. And right now we are just a mob of people. And are you a mob or are you a real company? That is the proposition here, because if no offense, again, you can have 30 guys and run 3 million and be like, we're a real company. And maybe you are, and that's awesome. But are you just a mob of dudes putting in work, install work, and you have a system of replacing people faster than you have a system of people leaving?
What was it you said earlier about when you go to sell your company, nobody wants to buy your headache?
Oh, yeah. Well, a great thing Mark said about valuations of companies, a whole other portion of the masterclass. I should get a promo link here. No shit. It was, if you have a bunch of headaches in your company and your company is a headache and you don't look forward to working in it or on it every day, why would you think somebody else is going to buy that from an investment standpoint? Nobody's interested in buying headaches. They want to buy an as stress-free possible business. So if you have this $2 million company, but you hate it, you dread it, and it's all full of problems, and then you go to put it up on the marketplace and somebody's like, hey, how's your system? How's your business? And you go, no, it's a bunch of headaches, a bunch of problems, and there's no software to run it. It's not worth much to anybody. But if you have a pretty turnkey business and you got some great people, that can be worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
So and to answer your question full circle, there's just only so much you can do in life. Like you said, you can do anything you want. You can't do everything. And I know that. I believe that. I've told you that. This is something I really imported into you. I said, dude, we can do anything. We can go get a helicopter or a jet. But there's a time and a place, and you have to do one thing before the next thing. It's a step process to get there. So we could go to 10 million, but we can't go to 10 million on what we currently have. And of course that will evolve and change. And you go from 1 million or 300 grand to $1 million to 3 million to 10. Like there are progressions to that whole conversation. So I'm not naive and like, you got to have all your lights turning green. But for us to go to 300 to $1 million, we could do that. We could really do that this year. We just don't have enough cash in the budget to get the infrastructure in place in terms of trucks and equipment, unless we finance a bunch of crap, right, to then get to $1 million, but it'll be $1 million with a 7% margin. I'm not interested in doing that. You know what I mean? And sales alone is not our answer, right? Like you and I, we want to build more of a debt-free business model as we continue to grow to a larger revenue milestone. So we have enough, we have trucks trucks will be on order. We have equipment that is on order. We want to buy a tractor. We want to continue to grow things. And I think we could take it to 500 to 600 grand, but I don't think we have the capacity to take it to $1 million. You know what I mean? I don't think we have a capacity to take it to $1 million. We could, but I just don't have a shop or the hiring process to get to, $750 to $1 million. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's that. I think no excuses. I'm not here to hold us back, but if we can get the house done, the barn done, work on all these different systems and to bolster Brian's all maintenance, then we have a launching pad to really go to the next level. But I think we can still grow this year 10, 15, 20%, no doubt. But I just think we're naive to think we can do that much at once. So it's a process. So any which way, that's what I got. Baby's waking up. I think that's our cue. Any final thoughts from you?
No, it's just, you go back and forth and you worry, like, am I holding us back by trying to grow slow and steady or responsibly, just, I think we'll be ruminating on this for this winter.
Yeah. Well, we have way more questions. We're going to do an open mic Q&A here. We got a bunch of questions from Instagram question thing that you guys do on the story. So we'll get you back here before we know it. I like having you on the show. And it'd be nice to have more conversations going on. So, all right, that's what we got for this episode. Look forward to catching up with you guys here on Friday. And you guys have a beautiful day. We'll catch up with you on the next one.
Bye.
Before you turn off the podcast, there are two things that we believe you will be highly interested in. First, if you're looking to stay up to date with the latest trends and insights in the world of lawn care, then you'll want to subscribe to our free email newsletter. It shows up in your inbox 3 times a week and includes a Monday motivational to kick off your week, a Wednesday what's new to keep you informed, and a Friday weekly recap of all the content we put out. The second thing is we have just launched Lawntrepreneur Academy Link. Now you can be a part of an exclusive community that links you to those who can help you grow in your lawn care business. Joining Lawntrepreneur Link will give you the tools that you need to stay accountable, get real-time expert advice, and find belonging in a community of folks who are passionate about the lawn care industry just like you. Visit LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com to learn how Link membership gives you unique access to monthly hangouts, bidding hour calls, coaching calls, expert lessons, and more. Stay ahead of the curve and level up your business with a membership to the Lawntrepreneur Academy Link. Find an easy-to-use link in the podcast description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.